You mean Matt here? SummerSlam 90. Wow. You know, it's funny because I look at this and I think, well, this pretty much was, the 2 years before I started watching WWF wrestling, but this actually looks like it was a really good card. So, let's start with the dark match. We have a guy that I knew came into the WWF in the mid 90s. He was obviously a WCW wrestler and then an ECW guy. Franchise Shane Douglas, who just went by Shane Douglas, who defeated Buddy Rose. I'm trying to remember if I saw this one or not. I don't think I would have seen it. It was a dark match, but Shane Douglas seemed, he was a good wrestler. I didn't see too many of his matches, but I have seen a few old school Raws from '96. He seemed to be a really good entertainer. He was the teacher gimmick, and then of course being into the franchise, just a really interesting individual. But he did win this match. This was cool. Then we get to the tag team, Power and Glory, Hercules and Paul Roma. We defeated the Rockers, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. I don't really have to say the name, you know who they are. Power and Glory. I didn't really see them that much. I know that they were at WrestleMania 7. And that's pretty much all I've seen from them. Of course, the Rockers were really good. Then we have the Intercontinental Championship match. Texas Tornado Kid Von Erich defeating Mr. Perfect, or heading again. Mr. Perfect was the second longest Intercontinental Champion. But on this night, of course, being defeated by Texas Tornado. And being a kid, I don't remember too much about Texas Tornado, except reading it in the magazines. I did see him maybe twice, probably more than that, but, the famous Von Erich family. These guys were pretty cool. And then we have Queen Sherry versus Sapphire. And it says that I think Queen Sherry forfeit. So that was a no-show. Interesting. Alright. So then we had the Warlord who defeated Tito Santana. The Warlord always stronger. The El Matador, Tito Santana. I remember, and he was pretty cool, and unfortunately he didn't win. But, the Warlord was stronger, bigger, so, yeah, that's all I can say about that. And then we have the Hart Foundation, who finally beat Demolition in a 2 out of 3 falls match to become WWF Tag Team Champions. This was, I believe, their second WWF Tag Team Championship run. Of course, these guys were very cool, and then of course, they would go off in their own path. And Bret Hart would have a lot more success. But I'll get to that when I get to that. Then we have Jake Roberts, who defeated Bad News Brown by disqualification. And it was with Big Boss Man, a special guest referee. Don't know how it was a disqualification. But this was, these two, like I said, were very good wrestlers. I keep saying that. I know I keep repeating myself. Jake Roberts especially. Master of the DDT. And Nikolai Volkov and Jim Duggan defeating the Orient Express, Sato and Tanaka, Mr. Fuji. Now, of course, it was the Russian-American connection. They're defeating the Japanese guys. And I really enjoy seeing stuff like that, you know. I've seen these before. I've seen the Orient Express in some really cool matches. Jim Duggan was always fun to watch. Nikolai Volkov. I enjoyed his work as well. You know, he's been around forever. Well, I haven't seen him in a very long time, but I think he's one of the few guys that I remember that only had a tag team championship run with Iron Sheik and never really had a singles belt. But I could be wrong. Then we had Dusty Rhodes, who was defeated by the Macho King, Randy Savage, with Queen, Sensational Sherry. Macho King, you know, when he went to the Macho King, I didn't really know until reading the magazines that my brother had. Of course, he defeated Jim Duggan, who was King Duggan at that time. So, this was cool to see Savage in a different role as a heel. And, well, he was a heel last time as well. But, to see him go in with Queen Sherry, just to see how this would work out. And it worked out well. I think that just really not much to say. He was that guy that was always impressing me. He was always charismatic. He was always colorful. And he, again, a reason why I started watching the WWF in the first place. They got the American Dream Death Duel, baby. One of the best guys in the world, you know. He just kicked a lot of ass, daddy. And always one of another charismatic individual that, you know, it sucks that he's no longer with us. Oh, but actually, all three of them are no longer with us. It really does suck. But, again, this was cool to see those two have a match. Then we got Hulk Hogan, who defeated Earthquake in a countout. Earthquake and Hogan had a pretty good rival. I remember reading where Earthquake squashed Hogan during an interview with Brother Love. So, this was Earthquake, his first pay-per-view. Of course, it was aligned with another Canadian, Dino Bravo, and Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart's not Canadian, but... And it sucks that it ended by count out. Then we had the Steel Cage. We have Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior. The WWF Championship. I did not know about this match, but these two have had a good feud, dating back to WrestleMania 5, of course last year's SUMMERSLAM. And now, I had no idea that this was for the WWF Championship. And, of course, Ultimate Warrior won. And, you know, it's a shame. Rick Rude never really had the WWF Championship. He was in WCW. You know, he had the U.S. Championship. He may have been WCW champion once. I don't know. Like I said, never really paid that much attention to the WCW brand. But it's a shame he never got his hands on the WWF title. again, you know, this was a good match. The cage matches were a lot different back then. But this was still cool. There it is. SummerSlam 90. I hope these get better. I'm trying to remember. Like I said in the last review, I haven't watched a lot of these. So I can only tell you that I think these are good wrestlers. I've seen them before, just not. This not Wrestle. This not SummerSlam. So I should really see where I could get the DVDs. But this was a good show, and yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye.